Alright guys, welcome to another episode of What Did We Just Watch? Today we're going to be talking about The Walking Dead Season 4, Episode 5, which I'm going to go ahead and call The Governor Returns. I mean, that's pretty much the whole summary of this episode. A few things happened. I think they're trying to, we were talking about it earlier, Ken, that they're trying to weed out all the new guys so we don't have to learn all these new faces, which I think they're doing a pretty good job of, actually.
Yeah, every week it seems like more. Well, I think it's funny. It's like you'll just see people and like, I've never seen that guy in my life. Oh, now he's dead. So whatever.
Yeah, I feel like they got a lot of new, just throwing them away just so they have people to die instead of killing the main people off, which is fine.
Right.
I don't think anybody wants to see Daryl die anytime soon. So how do we prolong his life? We throw other people away. So we had that happen. We had Herschel taking care, playing the doctor all season, and he continued in this episode by trying to save as many lives as possible, which in then turned into a giant shit show in the old prison cell. So it was a big old outbreak, and all the people started turning, and we actually had the first scare for one of the main characters of this season. Glenn actually almost bit the bullet. I thought he may have actually died. They may have gotten rid of him. I don't know. What did you think?
Yeah, it was close. I mean, I don't know. Glenn doesn't strike me as someone they're going to kill off very quickly or easily. I mean, they've had chances in the past to do it before. They could have done it with the governor when they had him under control or something like that. But it was definitely, that was the key theme of this episode, was basically trying to keep him alive, and I guess Sasha, Tyrese's little sister. So they kept those two, the two important people alive, and like you said, everyone else got killed off. So, nothing too big a surprise as far as the deaths. Kind of like we were texting back and forth. I thought, just that whole episode in the sick bay or whatever you want to call it was just kind of cheesy. Just the fact that, all these people are in their cells. He keeps refusing to lock them in their cells like he should have. And then all of a sudden they basically like all die and turn into zombies at the same time. And, mayhem ensues. And it's just kind of, I don't know, like there's just been a lot of, seems like the writing's just been getting a little bit lazy this season as far as some of that kind of stuff. So, like they're just trying to create events and they don't really care if it's like well thought out, but whatever.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, I think you're right. I think they are getting maybe a little lazy on the whole outbreak, or how the zombies come together and they start taking people down. So you had that happen. You also had Rick and Carl had their little Rambo moment, I guess you could say. The fences come down, and apparently Rick has these assault rifles just chilling in the dumpster with a couple clips of ammo, which could be no more than 4 clips, I'd imagine. And there's at least 100 or so zombies, and they're just three-bursting these guys, just taking them out. And dude, it's just like every typical show that has a shootout. I mean, it becomes so cheesy at points because it's like we also was at season 2 with Herschel and the shotgun. Yeah, I mean, the infinite ammo shotty, and it happens with this too. So many points where they kind of messed up with the clip throwing and all that stuff. So, it was cool to see. I mean, they took out all the zombies. Realistically, I don't think it would have happened like that. I think there'd still be like 60 zombies left, and they would just get overrun. But
yeah, or more zombies would come after they were out of ammo because they're lighting up the whole neighborhood. But
right, yeah. There's apparently like a herd that Daryl and all them ran into like not even a mile away. So where are those guys coming around? So yeah, it was kind of fluky, but like I said, they had to make something interesting happen. It was kind of funny how they had like I don't know if you caught like the little, there's like something like shit's going down inside the jail cell, and you have Rick and Carl out here putting up these logs, and they're having like that father-son moment, like, "Hey Dad, I'll help you," and then kind of like stopped, and Rick smiled. Like this is so cheesy.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. All of a sudden, we're just like ripping the show this week. I don't know, but the whole thing with Rick and his son, and trying to take this pacifist approach, and like that whole storyline just bores me. I don't care. Just get over it.
Well, I think most of it has to do with me. Like it has to, like last week, you literally said, "Screw you, Carol. You're not coming back," and then like nobody really knows except for Herschel and his daughter. And all of a sudden, like, Rick's is out here, like, hey son, help me with this log, like not even caring about Carol as much. Um, so yeah, the show does go a little bit more serious towards the end. Like I said, with the breakout in the jail cell, they actually call the zombies. Um, and another thing too, like after all that's said and done, a random van comes up, and Carl runs over there and unlocks the gate. They can't see inside because it's nighttime, you know. So they don't know who that could be, and he's like, "It's gonna be all right, Dad," and runs over, opens the gate, and these, like, obviously it's Daryl and all them, but how did they know that was the van,
Yeah, they needed to don't they have maybe they had some kind of signal, we just didn't see.
Maybe. Yeah, there's a lot of unspoken stuff that's going on, but I thought that was kind of funny.
Yeah.
So they all get back, they're giving the medicine out and all that stuff, and of course the big question is, when's Rick gonna tell Daryl? Because Daryl's gonna go bad shit crazy.
Yep.
Whenever he finds out, Carol's gone. I honestly think Daryl's gonna beat the shit out of Rick. I think it'll be pretty funny.
Yeah.
But that's just me.
He's just gonna be like, I never even got a chance to hit that yet.
Dude, I know, right? I know. So we'll see what happens with that.
Yeah, I think that's obviously how the next week's going to kind of play out.
I don't know. Those previews, I mean, we'll talk about it towards the end of this, but the previews seem like it's like all governor or nothing, So we'll see what happens with that. So at the end of that, obviously at the end of the show, I'm trying to think if there's anything else, any major stuff we miss in between, but I think it's pretty much, that at the end of that, they all get back with the medicine. They get Glenn back up and running. He's breathing now, so I think he's gonna make it through, conveniently. So, dude, I did think at one point, I thought when that little girl was like puddling with the blood, I thought she was gonna pull out a pistol and shoot Glenn. Cause she was like, is it all over? And, Herschel's like, for now. And then she pulls out that pistol that guy was using and is like, well, it's over now. Boom.
Yeah, dude, that chick is just creepy. I don't know what's up with her. Like, that little girl is, and I don't know, like, I mean, before the storyline was, she had some kind of, like, link to Carol. Now Carol's going, I don't know what she's doing on the show. Like, I don't know if they're just hanging around to kill her off or what, but.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting with her. I think she's going to do something kind of weird. I don't know. And then the main event of the show, which happened, was at the end, you see the governor for the first time in 4 episodes. So I guess the show's gonna go back towards him, which to some is like, oh, it's cool, the governor's back, and then to people like you and me, we're just kind of like, this guy should have died like 7 times last season. Like
this again, yeah. I mean, I guess they've kind of turned out the whole epidemic storyline. That's kind of winding down, and they've whittled down the big group to a smaller group once again. So I guess this was the plan all along. It's funny how he's just chilling right outside the jail looking at him.
Yeah.
And it kind of makes you wonder. I mean, I'm assuming, maybe he's the one that's been trying to get the zombies to come there and break down the fence and stuff.
Yeah, that makes sense. Remember, because we go back to the season, or the episode where somebody's feeding them rats?
Right.
And now it kind of like probably most likely was the governor,
Right. Which, I mean, kind of makes sense. It is kind of interesting, though, that Daryl and Michonne have been out, tracking, trying to find him, and haven't found any trace of him, and then he's just chilling, like watching Rick and what's his name? The son? I forgot. Carl. Rick and Carl just walking around, and they don't even see him. So, yeah. I mean, it'll be interesting to see. I mean, obviously they're going to try to make him more of a badass this season. He's not this, part good, part bad. He's flipped the switch, and he's just a psycho. And even in the previews for next week, we see him, just
burning down that building.
Burning down the building, just watching a zombie run right at him and not flinching, and just he's got those dead eyes, or dead eye.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I mean, it could take a turn back to something that I enjoy. Like, I mean, it just depends on where they go with it, I guess.
I kind of hope for future seasons, like something about I think it was season 1, where they have a purpose. Like, they have that signal and they're like, hey, we have we have a place of safety, and you need to come make your way here. I think that made like the whole season have a purpose. You know, like hey, this is what they're doing. They're trying to get to this place, and maybe there's safety there.
Right.
I think there's something. I mean, they kind of hinted at it with that radio broadcast, like, "Hey, we found refuge," and blah blah
Mm-hmm.
blah, that we had earlier this season. I think it's time for them to get out of that drill, you know, and start moving again. Because when they're moving, it makes the predictable stuff not as predictable. Like, because anything could happen at that point. Like, they're on the road,
Right.
so they could run into some bandits or anything. But now they're just like sitting ducks, you know. They're just like, hey, we're trying to make it, which, you know, that's what we do in a real zombie apocalypse. They're getting it down to a T. That's probably what I would do. Like, I would find a group and settle down. But for television show wise, I mean, it's kind of cool to have them on the road, seeing how they survive movement wise and trying to find that refuge, trying to find a place of safety. So hopefully they go back towards that. We'll see with the governor, the whole governor situation. I'm just thinking about like real life wise. If this guy showed up, like, I mean, even Carl's at the point now with a gun, he could probably take him out, you know.
Right.
Like, I don't see how this guy's still alive.
And he doesn't have an army by any means, so I mean, I don't know what he's going to do. I'm assuming now he's going to turn into some kind of MacGyver type character that's just going to have these ways of attacking them, you know, like he's going to pull some kind of stunts with zombies or traps or something that's going to affect them. Because, I mean, as far as we know, he's rolling solo at this point, so, I mean, what can he do against their whole group, like you said?
Right, yeah, we didn't see any of the other guys he left behind. Like, he had 2 guys with him whenever he murdered his whole crew.
Right.
And we didn't see those guys at all in the preview, so we might see him, we might not, but the governor's back. Other than that, though, it was a good episode. I mean, we get a lot of crap, but it was a solid episode. Hopefully they start speeding things up a little bit. Story-wise, like, obviously there's a lot of action this season, there's a lot going on, but there's still no, like, I like to have some kind of goal in mind, you know, like, hey, this is what they're trying to do. They're not just sitting here
trying to survive. Like, that's what it seems like right now. Like, they're just trying to scrape by, and you don't really know where the show's going. It's like you're waiting for something to happen to them rather than them to do something. So that's kind of, it gives you kind of a stale feeling a little bit, like you don't know, like, if anything actually interesting is going to happen. But it's all just kind of, you know, when's the next zombie going to jump out from around the corner type thing.
Yeah, I mean, we all know at the end of this whole mid-season, because what is it, like 8 episodes and they take that whole break.
Right.
Obviously Carol's going to come out of nowhere, and Carol's going to kill the governor, and she's going to win her trust back with everybody. I'm going to go ahead and call it right now. You know, like, hey, that's what's going to happen. You know, it might not happen that way, but that's what I think is going to happen. Carol's got to get back with the group somehow. Either that or Daryl's just going to go crazy and go find Carol, and they're going to start their own group. Yeah,
I could definitely see him going on a rampage and leaving and going to try to find her, and then they're exposed with Daryl being gone or something. Or he runs into the governor or something like that. So
I totally agree. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's our recap of Season 4, Episode 5 of The Walking Dead. If you have any thoughts or, you know, you want to tell us how dumb we are for the predictions we have, just hit us up in the comments and leave a like, and we'll get back with you next week.
Later.